Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Innovation Spotlight podcast. And I'm really happy to welcome here Vratislav Kalenda, our founder and CEO at Uplifting. Hi, Vratia.
Hi, hello.
I'm really happy that you are here because there's a big topic on the table and it's AI and ChatGPT. So let's go closer on it and on the topic and uncover the impact for the future of this technology. So can you kind of describe us what is actually AI and how it works?
Yeah, sure. So AI is the way how we can teach computers how to understand this fuzzy data like image and text and so on. And it's based on neural networks, which is just like a dense mesh of nodes that are kind of fuzzily processing the data. And we weren't that good at it for the last couple of decades, but now there's a big shift and big breakthrough with the transformers and with the GPT. And that unlocked a lot of potential for humanity.
Mm-hmm. Everyone now knows ChatGPT and probably uses it daily. Are there several other versions, or can you kind of describe what versions are on the market, or is there some other companies like except OpenAI that have their own artificial intelligence, something like that?
Yeah, sure. So GPT is something that's called large language models. It's not the only large language model that is on the market. For example, Google just uncovered its large language model called BERT, but the most famous models are right now the GPT from OpenAI, and there are basically two versions. There's a 3.5 GPT Turbo, which is a version that has been around half a year, and that's what everybody knows, what everybody had the chance to try.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's this new version that is right now available just for subscribers and for developers that got the preview. And Uplifting is one of them. That's called GPT-4. And that's a much more robust and much more intellectually powerful model. And it's like night and day when you talk to GPT 3.5 and GPT-4. The GPT-4 can hold longer context, can extract more wisdom from its internal state, and it also can pay a lot more attention to your orders and to your instructions.
Mm-hmm. And are there any other important players on the market now, or maybe different kind of shifts of this AI into the developers or any tools created already on that platform?
Well, we are super early. So in terms of large language models, the OpenAI is still in the lead, but there are some players that are trying to catch up with them. Definitely Google with its BERT and other large language models. Then AWS has already announced their suite of large language models. And then there are some smaller players that do like large language models that are not general, but are focused on some very specific topic. So, the big four consultancy groups are trying to train large language models for finance, for example. Somebody is trying to do large language model for medical use cases. So there will be like these niche players, but in terms of like the general most, like the models that generalize very well, it's basically right now Microsoft and OpenAI in the lead, and then Google and AWS is playing catch up.
Do you think we should expect some other big players join the race, or?
Yeah, I think that everybody now realized that they are kind of behind. So I think that Apple will soon announce the entrance on the market, and Elon Musk kind of he's like a PR grabber, so he also announced an AI company, but I don't think we can take him as seriously as those big companies trying to catch up.
What does it really mean, this AI for the world, and how will it change and affect the world or our daily lives? And can you maybe compare it to some as significant that happened in the past in technology or innovation?
Yeah. Okay. So I would say that this is comparable to the invention of internet, but with the caveat that this goes much faster. Like when the internet was invented, it was revolutionary, but the technology it took years before it was like globally like forced to be reckoned with. But this thing, the AI, thanks to the internet, basically got into the hands of hundreds of millions of people in just 2 months. So you could see like the fastest adopted technology on the world right now is the GPT, like the Chat GPT that passed 200 million users in just 2 months. Not even iPhone has this, mark on the world.
And how will it affect us?
I think it's super hard to predict, and most people, especially outside of the tech circle, they don't even know what's coming for them. Because the thing is, this is not like even GPT-4, it's not the most clever thing in the world. And but that's not the case, right? Like the ChatGPT-4 can solve many of the USA-based exams, like for example, the bar exams for lawyers. It can solve it in 90% percentile. So that's not the best. But let's say that for many tasks that a human now perform, it's good enough. So imagine that you have infinite amount of workforce that has like IQ of 100 to 110, that you pay fraction of the cost that you would pay to a human, right? Like human would cost you, let's say, anywhere from $40 to $100 an hour, and now you can have something infinitely many of workers that you pay $1 an hour, maybe less, and that's a pretty scary thing for many people.
Yeah. So should they be afraid, or is it something that opens the door for better future, or not really?
It really depends how we as a humanity will use the technology, right? And how we regulate it, and what legal and ethical frameworks we will build up on it. I think this is the AI is an opportunity to reclaim some of our work time back and use it for more meaningful stuff, like family or hobbies or self-development or whatever you want. Or it is also an opportunity to slave away more, but way more effectively, with the help of AI. And I think that this is and there are contradictory force on the market. So like the rich people will want to be more rich, and the governments would like to keep it under in some kind of balance, and the normal people just want to have better lives, right? And it will be a very interesting thing to see who will win in this world.
That's maybe like really interesting, because when you look at all the innovations that just made you work faster and more in the end, and are people already or are our minds ready for it? Because with AI everything will be even much quicker, everything will work much faster. Can we kind of like keep up the pace of AI, human?
And that's like there's so much to unpack. Like the first take that you could have on this topic is that you will need to learn how to control the AI and how to work in, let's say, kind of this AI human hybrid mode, so that your co-pilot is basically this AI that is helping you to accomplish stuff faster, and hopefully then you can reclaim the time for yourself. That's one way how you can look at it. But the second thing is there will be professions like doctors and hopefully programmers where basically this will solve the shortage on the job market, right? Because suddenly one programmer can be 10 times more effective, right? Like, so even if you reclaim 1 day of your work and you will be 8 times more effective, not 10 times, you could be, you could make more software that is needed for the world, and there won't be such a big pressure on having more developers, right? Or the doctors can see more patients, and that's a good thing. But then there will be professions which are kind of necessary, but at a certain point they don't add more value to the world, Like for example, for companies, you don't really need more accountants than just what you have usually, or you don't need more lawyers than what you have usually, and you don't need more, for example, like copywriters than you to saturate the market with the information you need. And then for some of the professions, and I really don't know which one it will be, AI will start outplacing people from the market. if you know what I mean. Like there basically won't be enough decently paid jobs because those jobs would be played by an AI.
Mm-hmm.
And that will be that, and that's the thing, right? And then what first, what we will do with all those people? Can we pay them somehow anyway through universal basic income or some other mechanism?
Yeah.
And then what the heck they will do with their lives in terms of like how will they find meaning? And that's all like very hard questions that the humanity will need to answer in the upcoming years.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know if we have an answer, but there will be a lot of discussions about it with governments and companies. And maybe let's jump into the topic of how it will affect the companies and corporations and even startups that we work for. How can they use this technology for their growth, let's say?
Yeah. So there are like pretty obvious use cases that you can use the AI even now. You can use it as your personal assistant. You can use it to create content or help. It can help you create like meaningful content and so on. And then there are like places where, for example, a lot of clever startup companies are using AI right now to improve their product, right? So for example, they have like a classical non-AI product, but since this is kind of like a democratization or like, global availability of artificial intellect, you can very quickly imbue or improve your product with the AI. So for example, if you have a pile of data that the customers need to search or like understand manually within your product, you can have like an AI data analyst and have like a basically chat interface to your data, right? Or you can do like semantically meaningful search. So you don't search for, by file names or like pieces of words, but you search through meaning, right? Which is like much better search. So you don't care how the file is named. You basically say some file that contains tomatoes, right? And if your only file is like an agriculture report on South Africa, and they grow tomatoes here, that's what will pop up, right? So that's like just many of the ways the startups can use. They can put in the AI right now, and we are actually helping multiple startups right now to put the AI into their product in a meaningful way.
Should every startup now start thinking about it, adding AI and how to do it?
I think that every startup needs to be aware of what the AI can do, and they should evaluate whether an AI-powered startup in the same field, whether that's a danger for them or not. Like whether like AI first startup in that field would basically crush them in terms of how useful it is for their customers. So it's more about there are places where AI is a necessity, and in 1 year to 3 years there will be a competitor that will be AI first in that space, and that could pose a threat. And then there are startups that are more safe in more, let's say, classical or mission critical industries where the AI could be like welcomed help for the users of the product, but it's not like that the AI first startup would outplace them from the market.
Yeah. So if you are a startup, take a look at it and think about it, how you can do it.
Yeah, just think about, you have infinite access to a average intellect, right? How you can improve your product or the value delivered to your customers if you have infinite amount of white collar workers with a average level of intellect. It wouldn't be the best, but sometimes your customers are not there for the best solution. They are there just for an okay solution. And that's, in 80% of cases, that's all right, because it saves them hours and hours of work that they would have to do it manually.
I think the same applies to corporations, maybe, right?
Yeah, for corporations, that's that's a huge opportunities for cost savings in their processes, in their software development and so on. And it's all about, you always need to think about build, partner, buy paradigm. So either there's nothing on the market yet and it won't be in 1 year with the AI. So you build it because it can save you right now thousands of hours of your workers. Or there's some strategic partner you can partner with and they can customize their solution, or you can buy something already existing on the market. For example, Intercom, the company that does customer support,
Mhm.
they were one of the first companies that entered the GPT-4 landscape, and now they are offering, like semantic search through documents for the and then customers, or like for the operators of those chat, they can summarize their answer quickly or generate the answer through an AI with just some little hints, which saves hours of work on customer support,
Mhm.
right? And that's for example something that you can buy and have right now.
And can also somehow AI assist to like people in the lead of companies for CEOs, or how do you use AI in your daily job?
Yeah, well, the AI still has a problem that when you are like when you don't provide it data and you just ask
Mhm.
whatever it thinks, it can sometimes hallucinate answers that are not really correct, right? So, but by the way, sometimes even humans, mistake their opinions for facts. So even if you ask a friend,
Yeah.
sometimes he's saying like, yeah, this is for sure, but not really.
Not really.
So just that it's not a flaw, just for the AIs. But the point is, you have to be careful of what the AI outputs, especially in the like strategic level. But imagine that you have always a fresh pair of eyes that can criticize and improve your work,
Mhm.
and you have to decide whether the improvements are worthwhile, right? But for example, for me as a frontman of Uplifting, I use it for the initial brainstorming, for looking at that same issue in different lenses, or see how or you can apply some methodologies like customer journeys or go-to-market strategy methodology, right? And see how it would look in the official format and where I didn't look and where the AI looked. 10% is bullshit, but 90% is valid
Yeah.
input.
Mhm.
So if you have good bullshit detector, you can get a lot of value from just asking AI simple questions. And the more context you give it, the better the answers.
Mhm. What was your first reaction when you first tried ChatGPT? Let's say.
Well, when I tried the GPT 3.5, I was like, okay, this is cool. But I was like, I saw all the limitations, the hallucinations and everything. It was cool for content creation, but then I saw the GPT-4 demo, and I saw the statistical results, and I saw the paper from Microsoft, trying that the claims that it's like in some definitions, it's like a start of an artificial general intelligence, that it's very powerful. Then I tried for myself, and then I realized that the world is changing. Like this for the foreseeable future will be a very strong market and social force that we as a humanity need to either adapt or, yeah, I think there's no other way
Mhm.
than just to adapt it. Like the world is changing, and I cannot see, it's even like pre-GPT era and post-GPT era for the world, I think.
Mhm. So we can forget about metaverse or Web3 and stuff like that. It was really in compared to AI and ChatGPT, it's like really small innovation.
Okay, so here's my intuition about the
Uh-huh.
whole Web3 and metaverse space, right? Like the Web3 was really strong on privacy, decentralization, and all that stuff, right? But like, did it really brought value, or does it really bring value to the average Joe? To me, to you, to guy in a village,
Mhm.
Like, does it really like the top level of privacy, especially in, let's say, democratic world where you have not like oppressive regimes trying to get you, right? Does it really like bring you a value? I would argue that the most value that it brings is to all the scammers and to all the people that want you to invest into their new shit coin, right? That they can pull the rug under you, right? So that's I think that the real value wasn't there, and basically everybody, including myself, got into the at one point got to the like get rich quick kind of mentality and bought some shit coins or something, right? And there was this hype train, and the metaverse is very similar thing in a way that like new real estate space where you can buy stuff, but do you really need it when you live in the physical world? You have physical worries, you have hunger, you have illnesses, you have money to be made. This is the real issues here, not if you have like some villa in some metaverse. And that's why I think the Web 3.0 slash metaverse is not a strong value creator as the AI, because the AI that can solve real issues for you in the real world. It can generate content that you will get paid for. It can write the code you will get paid for. It can build you a company or help you build a company that will feed you, right? It can save time to doctors so that they can see you and cure your illness and can cure many more people than normally they would be able to do, right? So that's for me why I think it's much more fundamental change in the world and much more fundamental driving force of progress right now.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned that it will change how we code, basically. So how it's going to affect basic software studio, software house, how it's going to affect uplifting in the next future? What do we need to prepare for?
Yeah, that's also like super deep topic, because I think that from our preliminary results is that like prototyping of new ideas gets super fast, and normal coding gets up to 2 times, maybe 3 times faster if you really know what you are doing. And that's a huge game changer. And it even allows like very crafty founders to build the first version of their app without the need of any programmers, because the programmer is the GPT.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not the best code in the world, but hey, if you just need to validate your idea, it basically works. So why pay anyone else, right?
Yeah.
So, and this will be a fundamental shift, I think. And basically, I think there will be strong market pressure to first, like for the software studios to adopt that technology, because there will be new software studios that are AI first, and it will do your job in fraction of time. If you say like no to AI, there will be basically someone that will basically code in 30% of time what you would be doing a week, they will do in 2 days. And there's one famous quote, or now famous quote, it's like the AI will not take your job, but someone who will be using AI will.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the same thing in the software development. And I think for uplifting, it basically means first start using it, because we want to provide the value to our customers on par with the cutting edge. The second thing is, I think it's all about not selling mandates but selling value. So how can we transform uplifting in a way that we sell our know-how and our expertise in certain stuff? Because if we just take the AI and code with AI and deliver the output 3 times faster, we are basically just taking all the benefits of AI and transferring it to the client.
Mm-hmm.
And we are not capturing any of that value added from the AI. And I think that we should be able to capture a little bit of that value. But that would mean a new business models.
Mm-hmm. And what steps is Uplifting doing to provide this value to clients?
Yeah, right now we are supporting teams that want to use GitHub Copilot and other stuff. We of course have it specifically marked in the new contracts that we are using these generative technologies for writing the code, and we are basically internally educating ourselves how to use those tools to generate the code faster. And in the prototyping phase, when we want just to try things out, we are right now using GPT-4 for the whole prototype building, and it really takes us from prototype in 2 weeks into like prototype in 1.5 day kind of a scenario. And that's huge.
Mm-hmm.
Because then like if you need, for example, to prototype mobile app and you are the guy that kind of design it, and you are more of a backend engineer, you don't need backend engineer and front-end engineer and mobile guy and all of that. You just do it in one person, right? So the cost of communication drops off. You can rapidly iterate until it's basically there, and that's huge.
Mm-hmm. We have some kind of like AI squad now at Uplifting for several weeks, and you are working on this value. Who is in that squad, if you can say, and what are your steps or next steps in the future? What do you want to get there?
Yeah, I think for us, like one thing is to be AI proficient. We are using it in our day-to-day build, but the next step is to embrace it fully and actually help others to use it and to integrate it into their products or build AI products. The game completely changed. Like the game now is not played in the labs with the AI game is not played in labs with people in white coats and this thick glasses. It's because the biggest models have been already trained, and it costs so much to train them on the top level cutting edge stuff. that game has ended and has been won by the big companies, it seems.
Mhm.
So now the models are available through an API, and the quest on the market right now, and the biggest value that can be gathered from it, is how to apply this revolutionary general technology and how to put it into the companies, how to find the nooks and crannies of the companies and how to integrate it into their products and into their processes. And that's what we as Uplifting want to do. We basically want to be an AI first digital product studio. So we help companies build on top of those general models, value added services into their product, into their processes, into their companies, so that they also can save a lot of time, and hopefully give it to their employees as a free time. But,
Mhm.
this is a capitalistic world we live in, so we will see how this pans out. But we want to reclaim the lost time to work, to
Yes.
meaningless work that can be done by AI.
Yes. That would be great.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it. Maybe what you also talked about, that we will use AI a lot. Are we ready for data security? And how secure is it to use AI in technology? Because many people could be afraid of it. Even not maybe small startups, but big corporations for sure, because they have a lot of data of people.
Yeah, that's a very valid concern, and that also plays into the hands of the big players, right? Like, the thing is, you have these open AI models, and if you use them just with a non-commercial license, just for free, there's always a cost associated. So if you use it for free, you're basically giving data away to be trained on. And there are some already scandals of like engineers using the free version of GPT to, in Samsung, I think this happened. Like they just shared like their blueprints of the chips, the new chips designs with the GPT, and then the GPT-4 was trained on those designs. So now if you ask what the Samsung is planning for 2023, it kind of spits out all their secret plans.
Ooh.
So that's fun, right? But the point is, now everybody is a little bit scared, and everybody is very very serious about the data security. So, for example, the OpenAI is now available through Microsoft Azure. So you can have it through your Azure subscription to one of the major cloud providers. And then, all the data security is governed by the Azure certifications, by the Azure security compliance, and Azure has everything from HIPAA to ISO certifications. So then if you basically buy the intelligence through one of the big cloud providers, you can be pretty sure that your data is safe, because they will never, that basically the cloud providers, one of the main values they provide is the trust within the platform. So they wouldn't dare to train on your data or something.
Yeah. So if you're going to use it right, and
exactly,
we will save money on security.
Yeah. You have to know the services you are using. You need to know their privacy policies. You need to know how they are using the data, and they are, no AI and AI companies are created equal. So you have companies that will train on your data, even if you pay for it. And then you have for example, Midjourney, those generative AIs, even if you pay for it, they are basically through the feedback loop on the Discord bot. When you select which image to enlarge, that's actually like a training signal to the AI which images are good, right? So they are training on you even if you pay for it.
Yeah.
But then, for GPT, that in the commercial mode, both in subscription and through API, if you are paying for it, they are not training on your data. And especially if you buy it through Azure, then it is governed by Azure data privacy policy.
Let's look at Uplifting now, and because you are now working for several weeks, months on AI and implementing AI into our services. How is your prediction? How is Uplifting going to change in 1 year or maybe in 2 years? What we will do?
I think that we will be like the nature of our work will change. We'll be much more talking to AIs and work alongside them than just us coding the code. And in terms of our projects, I think most of our work will be AI related, hopefully. That means either launching new AI products for our VCs, for our startups, or integrating AI into the existing scale-ups, or doing AI consulting for big corporations. I think that will be the major change. But at the end of the day, it's still web development, it's still mobile development, but there's always a beating AI heart at its core.
I think that's a nice way to end our podcast. And if you want to add something, feel free.
Well, thanks for having me. It was fun, and I think it's a very exciting time to be alive. And I'm an optimist, so let's strap in and see what the future holds.
Thank you. So thank you very much for being here and bring all this information to our listeners. And I'm looking forward to next time to having you here.
Thanks.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.